A widely revered quality, duty, is characterized by unwavering loyalty and honesty. As we come to see, the true sense of the word duty seems hard to come by in Shakespeare's King Lear, with much of his court plotting against him in the hopes of conquering his impressive kingdom, and consequently abandoning their sense of duty to their king. The Earl of Kent offers two different personas that both demonstrate duty throughout the play. On one hand, we see him spending much of the play disguised as a peasant named Cassius. When he is not disguised as Cassius, he maintains his loyalty by fulfilling his duties as the Earl of Kent. As a peasant, Cassius's duty to Lear entails merely obeying his laws, staying loyal to the kingdom, and supporting the king. However, as Earl of Kent, his duty reaches farther. Earls, holding a noble title in the kingdom, were expected to agree with the king in all of his political decisions and throughout his personal life, cooperating with him even when they severely disagreed with the king's notions. The Earl of Kent, in Shakespeare's King Lear, uses the word duty in two different personas in hopes of having the king realize that his daughters and some of his court are tainting the true sense of duty, so that they may overtake his kingdom with little to no detection from the king. Lear must be cautious of who he favors, so that he does not risk having a dishonest court for the sake of having people agree with his opinion. Instead, he should value honesty above his court telling him what he prefers to hear. When his daughters are dismissed from court after an exaggerated profession of their love, Lear is obviously angry about the perceived lack of respect from his youngest daughter, Cordelia. Kent tries to correct him, stating, "Thinkest thou that duty shall have dread to speak, when power to flatter bows? To plainness honor's bound, when majesty falls to folly. Reserve thy state, and in thy best consideration check this hideous rashness." Kent tries to salvage Lear's decision to cut his most loyal daughter out of the kingdom by making his point that if he favors only those who flatter him the most, he will lose the respect of his other followers, namely, his loyal court members. In addition to losing respect, he will also run the risk of non-flatterers becoming afraid to offer their opinion in court, since they will be under the impression that only the opinions that will be tolerated and considered are the ones that come from praise. The king does not understand the difference between perceived duty and actual duty. Lear believes that in order for someone to truly be dutiful, he or she must not offend him and only offer praise and flattery. The next time the reader sees the Earl of Kent speak of his duty, he refers to an instance where his mission leads him to deliver a letter from the palace to Gloucester's castle, where he is ultimately bound in stocks. Here he exhibits selfless duty as the stocks hold Kent's leg in place to serve as punishment for the message that Goneril's messenger interpreted as threatening, leading his guards to whisk him away to another messenger where Kent foolishly drew his sword. Kent claims that he was risen from the place that showed my duty kneeling, came there a reeking post, stewed in his haste, half breathless, panting forth. Kent was simply performing his job, delivering a letter in which he had nothing to do with the message enclosed. The task of delivering the letter was far from easy. Kent states that he arrived half breathless, panting. For this, Kent exhibits a different type of duty, doing whatever he can to get the letter delivered, no matter the consequences on his personal health. If anyone were to be punished, it should have been the author of the letter, King Lear. Lear, however, does not realize that by sending his potentially controversial letter, he therefore sets up Kent for an imminent hardship. Once again showing his duty to the king, Kent takes the fall for the action that his king has thrust upon him. Instead of hiding from the wrath of Goneril's messenger, Kent bravely takes the punishment for the sake of his beloved King Lear. His unwavering loyalty truly shines in this scene, as he is placed in the worst of conditions and consequently endures them, all out of respect for his king. There is no higher display of loyalty and honesty to oneself and those they show duty to than when Kent accepts the torture for something that he was not personally responsible for, but instead he was simply acting out of duty. To Kent, duty is comprised of honor, compassion, loyalty, and courage. Not just anyone would continually treat the king with honor after he begins to go mad. Not just anyone would act compassionately towards an old narcissistic man. Not just anyone would stay true to their loyalty when others actively betray the king. Not just anyone would willfully subject themselves to be bound by stocks when they have no lawful reason to be bound. Kent continually stretches himself so that he may save the king from his own self, in hopes that order may be restored to the kingdom, and that it will eventually be placed in the hands of those who will make decisions that comply with Lear's line of actions prior to the descent of his mental health. All in all, Kent demonstrates his duty and upholds it throughout the play, so that he may never fall out of favor with the king. He acts not for selfish reasons, but so that he may protect the king in his imminent decline into madness.